This is a crazy story, yet one that should not surprise anybody. In Decatur, Alabama, this man, Kevin Penn, owns Star's Spirits and Beverages in the city. You can see him here in his store on camera. Per local media, one person tried to steal from Penn's store. Thus, Penn, 47, detained the thief and held him at gunpoint until police arrived. You can see in the surveillance video Penn having a conversation. Local media did report that he signaled for police to enter and that he removed the clip from the firearm. Police enter, clearly think they have the right guy, and sock Penn in the face. They violently detain him. A third officer joins the fray, all bear hugging him, forcing him to the ground, throwing their bodies on top of him, and placing him in cuffs. Although this incident took place 2 years ago, Penn filed a federal lawsuit recently against the city of Decatur and the Decatur Police Department. Here's what we know. The facts of the case state someone tried to steal from Penn's store when Penn detained the thief at gunpoint until the police arrived. Upon arrival, Penn waved officers inside, removed the clip from the gun, and put the firearm on the counter. They then took Penn into custody. Court records show officers, including Officer Justin Rippin, approached Penn with their weapons drawn. After going back and forth, yelling about Penn's gun on the counter, Penn told police he was going to file a complaint. The case states Rippin then moved past two other officers and punched Penn in the face, breaking his jaw and causing him to lose a tooth. Penn was arrested for obstructing governmental operations. In a lawsuit filed in the Northern District of Alabama, Penn alleges he was the victim of intentional police abuse and not merely the victim of mistaken identity, as Decatur police have stated previously, and further alleges a history of abuse within the department that is ignored and sometimes even sanctioned by superiors and city officials. After officers secured the accused thief who was lying just inside the front door of the store, video shows them approach Penn and begin shouting. Penn shouts back, then Officer Rippin rushes forward and punches him. The lawsuit also claims that several officers in the store that night, including Rippin, knew Penn and knew he was the store owner. The lawsuit said Penn had filed a previous complaint against Decatur police for an alleged unlawful stop and illegal search. The lawsuit also accuses Decatur police of routine instances of harassment against citizens who file complaints, terming such actions as pop charges or piss of police charges. ABC News reports that in 2020, police said they believe Penn was reloading his firearm. Alas, Rippin punches him. In the aftermath, Penn spent 6 weeks with his jaw wired shut as he recovered. The assaulting officer was not disciplined, according to Penn's lawsuit. No investigation even began until the video became public months after all this went down. The lawsuit accuses the city and police department of failing to adequately investigate charges of police abuse and misconduct, and it alleges specifically that the department didn't thoroughly investigate Penn's complaints, either on the night he was punched or the complaints alleging improper stop and illegal search. The complaint doesn't provide specific details of other complaints against Decatur police. The city of Decatur has not yet responded to Penn's lawsuit. Lest we forget, this is not something new when it comes to the failures in policing in not only securing and detaining the wrong person, but then brutalizing them for calling their services.
Tonight, police body camera video reveals a shocking new angle of a hotel brawl in Florida. The video, released by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, shows officers yelling and pushing a black hotel employee before arresting him, even though that employee, Raymond Rashall, was the one to call the police in the first place. Incident at a Best Western shows 28-year-old Rashall working at the lobby desk when a man charges past the front desk barrier towards him. Rashall punches the man, Jason Rabe, multiple times before putting him in a headlock and holds him down while 911 was called. According to the incident report from the police, Rashall said the man refused to leave the hotel. Rashall told CBS's Miami affiliate that he canceled Rabe's stay because Rabe, who is white, was making racial slurs towards him.
In Fort Lauderdale, police came to the scene of a man working behind the desk at a hotel and arrested him for defending himself against what you saw in the video. Court records showed Rashall was released on a $1,000 bond just 2 days before his 28th birthday. The state attorney's office dropped the charges against him, and Broward Circuit Judge George Odom Jr. disposed of the third-degree felony case on February 9th, court records showed. In Virginia, Leon McCrary Sr. from Woodstock called the police on a group of white people who threatened to kill him after trying to dump a fridge on his property. McCrary said they threatened him and returned with 3 more people attacking him physically, saying they didn't give a damn damn about my black life and the Black Lives Matter stuff and telling them they would kill him. McCrary drew a legally concealed handgun, he said, giving him time to call 911. But when sheriff's deputies responded, he said, I was not given the opportunity to tell what was going on. Instead, he was handcuffed in front of the mob, the members of which were yelling racial epithets and threatening him, McCrary said. An officer claimed he had to arrest the pastor for brandishing a gun. Mr. McCrary, a retired real estate investor and 24-year Air Force Master Sergeant with no criminal record, who has never been arrested, said deputies rushed to judgment in disarming a black male brandishing a gun against 5 white individuals, despite my Second Amendment right to defend myself against 5 attackers that tried to take my life. He added, in my mind, it was totally unacceptable. It would not be acceptable if I was white, and I believe all you know it to be true.